Chapter 5 review. I need you to take really good notes on it. 7th graders, I am starting. Take very good notes. John, take your backpack off the table. We do not put backpacks on tables. Is everybody on page 205? 205 is the actual chapter review in your book, and it's really nice because what they do is they go over 5.1, 5.2, but not only do they go over it and give you examples, they also give you practice problems, okay? So this is what we're going to be doing today is the practice problems inside of these. It goes through 5.3, 5.4. We actually are skipping 5.6. It will not be on your test, okay? And then right here is a practiced chapter 5 test. Normally I have you guys do the chapter side B as homework before the test, right? I'm not going to assign this as homework. In other words, I'm not collecting it and grading it. However, what I would like to stress to you is that if you can, and you have time, try some of the problems on chapter 5 test on page 208 and see if there's anything that's hard for you. If you feel like, oh, I really don't know how to do 13 through 15 on the chapter test, go back to these review pages and get some extra help, okay? Any questions? The only job you have today is to take really good notes. That's it. Okay, let's get started. So at the top of your page, write Chapter 5 Review. After you have written Chapter 5 Review, I want you to write 5.1, Ratios and Rates. We're going to go over this example first. I do not need you to write down the examples while we go through them, but when we do the exercises, then I want you to write them down, okay? So, example. There are 15 orangutans and 25 gorillas in a nature preserve. One of the orangutans swings 75 feet in 15 seconds on a rope. What is the ratio of orangutans to gorillas? What's the ratio of orangutans to gorillas? Hold on. I only know one person knows. 2 people know? Grace, what is the ratio of orangutans to gorillas?
Oh, it's not. Okay.
John, what is the ratio of orangutans to gorillas?
15 to 25.
Okay, Grace.
Oh, I was thinking unit rate. That's why I was confused because I was trying to figure. Yeah.
All we got to know is how many orangutans are there for every gorilla. Now, my question is, can I simplify that?
Yes.
On your quizzes, some of you got half wrong because you did not simplify. How do I simplify this? What is 15 divided by 5, everybody?
3.
Ooh, that was everybody? I heard 2 voices, maybe 3 voices?
3.
Okay, what's 25 divided by 5, everybody? 5. Can I reduce 3/5 anymore?
No.
No. So what is the ratio between orangutans and gorillas?
3.
3 to 5. Very good. How fast is the orangutan swinging? It says right here, the orangutan swings 75 feet in 15 seconds. So what is that as a ratio?
75 over 15.
Okay, and I would also label it, right? I'd say 75 feet per 15 seconds. Now, can I reduce that?
Yes.
Guys, I would prefer, John, if you're going to have a problem with that, you got to get out of here, okay? Too distracting. 75 over 15, is that a unit rate? No. When I'm driving to Great Falls and the speed limit sign says 70 miles per hour, that is a unit rate, right? What if I said the speed limit was 40 miles per 15 seconds? I can't calculate that in my car very easily, right? Same thing with this gorilla swinging. I would never say a gorilla swings 75 feet per 15 seconds. I need a unit rate. How do I get unit rates? Good, I just straight down divide, right? What is 75 divided by 15?
5.
5? Anushka, yes? Okay. When I take 75 and I divide it by 15, I got 5. What is that? 5 what?
5 feet per second.
Feet per 1 second. Now, doesn't that make so much more sense? Like, can't you picture a gorilla now swinging 5 feet per 1 second versus 75 feet per 15 seconds? It's really hard to picture, right? I want you guys to try to get things into unit rates if needed, okay? Now, this was just the example. Let's go do some of the problems together that you can write down, okay? Yes?
What type of car do you have if you can go 40 miles for 15 seconds?
Oh, that was me just coming up with some random thing to explain to you that it doesn't make
9,600
sense.
miles per hour.
Right, what I'm trying to tell you is it's really hard to, like, express that amount.
Rocket fuel?
It's really hard to express that.
Fuel.
You're on thin ice, dude. Do not interrupt. I was using that as an example to show you that you don't go by miles per 4 hours. You go by 1 hour, right? Same thing with here. Now let's write these ones down. Number 1, find the unit rate. So what I would do if I were you, in your notebooks, write this down first. If you don't write down the problem, you're not going to use these notes very well because you won't know what context everything is in. So write down this problem. 289 miles on 10 gallons. What is that as a unit rate?
289 over 10.
Okay, so it is 289 miles per 10 gallons. Now, you guys know when you find a unit rate, you just go straight down and divide. Yep. 280, or sorry.
28.9. That's what I said.
Yeah.
No, she just said 28.
Well, you're interrupting me. I was trying to read the problem. 289 divided by 10 is 28.9 what?
Miles per gallon.
Per 1 gallon. That is how you find unit rates. You just go straight down and divide, okay? Okay, do you have that one written? Have that one written. Number 2. 6 2/5 revolutions in 2 2/3 seconds. Do you guys know what a revolution is?
Spinning.
Yes, it's like a wheel revolves in a circle, right? So maybe they're talking about how fast a tire moves when you're going a certain speed. Or maybe they're talking about a Ferris wheel, I don't know. Okay, what is the rate? I'm not asking for unit rate yet, but what is the rate?
6 2/5 and
Hold on. 6 2/5 revolutions for every 2 2/3 seconds. Now, Grace said, hold on, why are they mixed numbers? Are ratios allowed to be mixed numbers? No. Is this a ratio? No, that's not a ratio. They're just telling you that this wheel spins 6 2/5 of a spin in 2 2/3 of a second. We are now about to go find a ratio, right? Now, I want you to find the unit rate. When you're finding a unit rate, you just straight down divide. Now, Grace is right. We can't divide mixed numbers, can we? We have to change them into improper. How the heck do I change 6 2/5 into improper?
6 times 5 plus 2 is 32.
So it would be 32 what? 32 fifths over times plus this guy?
8 thirds.
8 thirds? Okay, so now I'm at 32 fifths revolutions per 8 thirds seconds. Is that a unit rate?
Not a unit
No.
rate.
No! How do I make it a unit rate?
Needs to have a 1.
We need to straight down divide. Do you know what I mean when I say that? I'm just saying take this number, divide by this number. Okay?
Oh, I think I was thinking.
Now fractions. When we divide fractions, it looks like this. 32 fifths divided by 8 thirds. Grace says we have to do the multiplicative
Inverse.
inverse. That means 32 over 5 times what?
3 over 8.
3 over 8. Are you writing any of this down, Jude? What is 32 times 3?
96.
What is 5 times 8? 96 divided by 40. What is that? 2.4? Do you guys see why I can't just stop at 96 40ths? Is 96 40ths a unit rate? No. 96 40ths is simplified down to 2.4. Now, what's my final answer? Revolutions per 1 second. That means in 1 second, whatever this wheel is, it's spinning 2 and almost a half times in 1 second. That seems pretty fast to me. Maybe, I don't know, 1 second. Actually, that is really fast. Okay, you guys got that written down?
But if you think about it, like when you think of pushing like a chair or something that's really hard,
Yeah.
you can think about how it goes.
Yeah, the bigger the wheel, the longer it would take to have one full revolution, right? So it must be something small, like maybe like a Hot Wheel car or something. Go like this, and it has 2 whole rotations and a half in almost a second. Interesting. All right, moving on. I'm gonna clear my page. You guys okay with that? It's getting a little messy. Okay, number 3. Look at this little chart. Can you guys find me the unit rate of calories per serving?
Yeah, 240 over 2, 480 over 4, 720 over 6, 960 over 8.
I really, really love how Anushka did not say 2 over 240. Why would this fraction be incorrect?
Because it's not.
It's 1 calories per serving.
Very good. That's servings per calories, not calories per serving. Calories needs to go on top, right? So that means the fraction would be 240 over 2. What is 420 divided by 2?
120.
120?
No, 210.
Divided by
Think about it.
It's half of 240. So it'd be 120.
240 divided.
Now, if I took 480 and divided it by 4, shouldn't it be the same thing? And then 720 divided by 6 should be the same thing?
If you think about it, it is because if you take away all the zeros, you look.
Yeah, then it's just 24 divided by 2 is 12, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I know that everything divided this way is 120, but what does that mean?
120 calories per 1 serving.
Good, we're finding the unit rate. So it's going to be 120 calories per 1 serving. Super, super important that you guys label on all the problems that are like that on the test, okay?
Do we have to spell the whole word out though? Can we just...
Some things can be shortened, like seconds and feet, but things like calories, I'd put the word, because if you put a C, that could mean cup. So I would put CAL for calorie, maybe SER for servings. That's fine. Any questions on section 1? Section 1 was basically just asking, how do I find a unit rate? Okay? And how do I find a unit rate? Divide straight down, right? Yep. Okay. On your notes, I want you to write 5.2 proportions. Now remember, if it's inside this brown box, you don't need to write it down. I just want you to pay attention. It's when we get to the exercises that you need to write down, okay? Yeah. Yep, so on this one, I just need you to pay attention to me, okay? Can you guys tell me whether 9/12 and 6/8 form a proportion? We learned so many different ways to prove this, right? One way that I know a lot of you like to do is you like to ask yourselves, can I multiply anything by 6 to get a 9? No. Can I multiply anything by 8 to get a 12? No. So already I'm kind of seeing, are these two proportional?
No.
Not really. Another way, could you divide straight down? What is 9 divided by 12?
0.75.
0.75? Are you sure about that? Yeah, you're right. What is 6 divided by 8?
48.
Mm.
No,
Ooh, I'm seeing something important here.
it's 0.75. They're the same.
So wait a second. You guys were just telling me there's no way I can get from 6 to 9 and 8 to 12 by multiplying, correct? So do you think that is a very good method to use? Not always. Sometimes it's a very clear answer. Yes, I can. But should you always base it off of just that? No. You should always double check by dividing. Or what was my favorite way?
Cross multiple.
Yes, you should always check with cross multiplication because not always will it be crystal clear, okay? When I cross multiply, all I do is take these two numbers across from each other and multiply them. What's 12 times 6? 72? What's 8 times 9? Is 72 equal to 72? Yes. So, I think the lesson we need to learn here from this brown box is that it's not always a good idea just to ask yourself, can I times both of these by something to get this things? Because is that always a good method? Not necessarily, because it can actually really hurt you. You should always cross multiply or just divide them straight down and see what decimal you get. Okay? Let's do some examples now. Write 4/9 and 2/3 in your notes. Tell whether the ratios form a proportion. Now, is this one of those ones where you can say 2 times 2 is 4, 3, oh, but then you'd have to do it to the same down here, right? Okay, so we can't use that method as a guarantee. I want to do it my favorite way. Yep. What is 9 times 2? 18. What is 4 times 3? 12. What can you already tell? They are not the same. So are they proportional? No. You ready to go on to the next one, or are you still writing down?
So we won't have anything left in this class other than
Studying.
going over our own stuff.
Yep. As long as you can study on your own and feel prepared, that'll be your homework. Number 5. Let's solve these using Miss Ringler's favorite method. Cross multiplication. 18 times 22, Anushka. Okay, so this is 396. What is 12 times 33? 396? What do you guys think? Yes, they do form a proportion. And how about number 6? So 5 times 4 is 20 plus another 0 is 200. 8 times 10 is 80. Yuck. This is a big fat no. How do you guys feel about cross multiplication by telling me if they're proportions or not? Easy, fun, simple? Okay. If there's a question on the test and the directions say to tell whether it forms a proportion or not, I highly suggest just using cross multiplication. It's foolproof. You'll never make a mistake. Unless you do a multiplication mistake, but I would use cross multiplication. Oh, we got another little sucker over here. Number 7. He almost was hiding from me. Cross multiplication. 40 times 12. 480. 32 times 15. 480. What do you guys think?
Absolutely.
Yes!
What if I just did this one? I don't know. Oh, we did 32 over 5 earlier then.
Use the graph to determine whether the x and the y relationship are proportional. Hey guys, this is no different than what we just did. Pretend these are all fractions.
Yes.
Gavin is saying, I already can see from the very beginning, 1 times 3 is 3, 4 times 3 is 12. Those two are proportional. Now, can I times every top number by 3 to get the next number?
No.
Well, no, but that doesn't mean that they're not proportional, right? Can I times 3 by something to get 6, though? 2. Can I also times this by 2 to get 24? Okay, so these are proportional. Now, can I multiply something by 6 to get 8?
No. It's supposed to.
So, just to double check, let's set these two equal to one another. Okay? What is 8 times 24?
192.
What is 6 times 32?
192.
So even though there's nothing I can multiply by a 6 to get an 8, I still need to double check because are they proportional?
Yes.
Yes. So are the x and the y a proportional relationship throughout the whole thing?
Yes.
Yes, Grace.
Miss Minor, I'm just asking, could you also do like, you can tell that the top is 4 times, or the bottom is 4 times the top, so could you do it that way?
Yeah, so I could say x is times by 4 to get y. X is
Yeah.
4 times to get y. X is 4 times to get y, for sure. That'd be another great way to do it. Love that method. If you had a box like this and it said, is this a proportional relationship? Do you feel confident that you could figure out if it was or not?
Probably.
Probably? Okay. That's all I need to hear. So let's move on. Go ahead and in your notes write 5.3, writing a proportion. So 5.2 is all about telling if they are proportional, right? Easy, cross multiplication, good stuff. 5.3 says writing a proportion. 5.3 is so incredibly easy, I don't even think it should be a chapter. Because all they're asking you to do is take this table and make this. They don't even care what R is. Remember in the quiz I told you guys that? Isn't that so silly? Like, for me, I have like this weird type A personality where I need to go find out what R equals, but they don't even care about that. All they want you to do is look at this chart and try to make this. And that's so easy. They're saying on Friday, there were 40 sales for every 32 returns. So is that a fraction right there? Yeah. And then on Saturday, there was 85 sales for every R returns. I don't understand why it's its own chapter either, because I feel like it's so ridiculous. All you do is put a line under both of them and say that they're set equal.
You don't have to do anything else.
Right.
I solved
If they say to solve it, then that's different. But none of these are saying to solve it. It says use the table to write a proportion. This is a proportion. So let's do it. Number 9, this is the one you do have to write down.
I solved that.
Just, how about you guys don't need to copy down the chart because I know that could take forever. Just tell me, what is the proportion?
6 over 68.
Is equal to, that's it.
No, can I solve? I'm gonna solve it.
Okay, because my type A personality can't handle not knowing what M is either.
My only question, or my question is,
Yeah, I can't.
but it's not even like we have to figure out which one's on top and which one's on bottom, right?
It doesn't really matter. I mean, I could say penalties per minute or minutes per penalties, but I think penalties per minute sounds better, right? Super easy. How about this one? Songs per hour. Once again, all you're going to do is make your little fraction bars, set them equal. That's it.
H equals 0.
This is just like kind of
Why are we even doing this chapter?
It feels like this chapter should have been chapter 1 or section 1, right?
Yeah.
And then we should have built off of it instead of it's like in the middle of the chapter. I thought it was super ridiculous too, you guys.
Or
But-
at least number 2 before we even
Yeah,
started
something.
proportions.
Exactly. We've already solving proportions and now it feels like going backwards, but that's okay. I guess what I want you to understand is on the test, if it just says to write a proportion, it does not say to solve, you don't need to solve it. You literally just have to write it just as a proportion, okay?
If we
I
solve
probably
it,
won't get a small either.
If
Yeah,
you,
it's like
I would say over half of you on the quiz did solve it, and I
didn't even,
did not mark you wrong because if you can solve it, that means you set it up as a proportion. So, I was happy either way. Okay.
It's kinda annoying not to do, like, not
It is kind of
solve
annoying
it.
not to solve it. It feels unfinished. Okay, now in your notes, write 5.4, solving proportions. Once again, this chapter feels very out of order to me because weren't we just doing cross multiplication in 5.2?
Yeah.
Now, 5.4 is just saying, here's what cross multiplication is.
oh, you wanted me to go back on 9 and 10 because I had it on my work, but I didn't
Right.
have it on the line.
Right.
So we have to-
Right, exactly. So once again, I feel like this chapter is a little messy. I feel like they should have put this section before this section up here. But whatever, that just makes 5.4 incredibly easy for us, right?
Yeah.
We're not even going to do the example, we're just going to go straight to the problems. Go ahead and write this problem in your notebook.
Easy. So
So easy. I'm going to pick a random person to walk me through it, however, okay? How about, gosh. Noah, will you walk me through 11?
2 times 4 is 8.
Awesome. 2 times 4 is 8. And then what?
5 times x is 5x.
5 times x is 5x. Now, how do I get x all by itself?
Divide by 5.
Yes, you are amazing. Divide by 5, divide by 5. 8 divided by 5 is
1.6.
1.6. Is it 1.6 with a hat, or is it just 1.6?
Just 1.6.
That's nice. Now, could you have also written it as, so you could say x equals 1.6, that's a correct answer. Could you have also said x equals, how many times does 5 go into 8? One whole time? And how many is left over? 3?
That's no fun.
Both of these are the same thing. Would you agree?
We like the first one.
Yes, Zoe.
We get a calculator on the test.
Yeah, if you have a calculator, you can take 8 divided by 5 and get 1.6. Or some of you guys are just like, oh, 8.5, that's easy. That's 1 3/5. That's totally fine too. Okay? These answers are identical. If it specifically said, make sure your answer is in a fraction, then you're going to need this one. But it probably won't ever say that. Okay? Easy?
Yeah.
Okay, then write down number 12 and somebody else is going to walk me through it. How about my friend Trinity? Will you walk me through 12?
75.
Good. 15 times 5 is 75. Now what? Good job. 75 divided by 12. That's nothing pretty either, but it is.
6.25.
You're close.
6.25.
1/4.
Yeah, it's 6.25.
It's 6.25, or we could say 6 and 1/4.
Oh, wait, what did I?
I think you just need to reduce, Grace. I think you're okay. How many times does 12 go into 75? 6 times. And then how many would be left over, and you could reduce it?
Oh, yeah, because it'd be 3/12.
Yep. And then 3/12 would be reduced to 1/4. Very good, Grace. 13! I'll pick someone else to walk me through it. You guys write it down. How about Brinley? Brinley, will you walk me through this one?
6 times 20.
Perfect. Which is 6 times 2 is 12, add a 0. And then what?
8 times W.
Whoops, I just used my eraser instead of a highlighter. Silly me. 8 times W is 8W.
And then we divide it.
Good job. 120 divided by 8 is 15?
Yeah.
Good job, you guys. So W equals 15. Da, 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 da. Lovely. Oh, look, we have another little hidden one. Ooh, and he's spicy.
Oh, spicy.
Ooh, we like spicy ones.
Spicy math problem.
I have
We
a
do.
question.
Yes.
Because this night happened on our test, on our homework last night. I got confused when it was like it was the n over. It was like it was something times something over something. I don't know.
How about after we're done with the recording, you can show me it and we'll go over it together. Does that sound good? Okay. Can I walk you guys through this one?
Yes.
But you have to make sure you write this down, okay? Same thing, just as always, cross multiply. Okay? What is 4 times 4? 16. Now, just like normal, we're cross multiplying, but we're taking 8 times this whole thing. If I'm taking 8 times a whole thing, I need to put it in. So it's going to be 8 times this whole thing.
It's just 2s.
So wait, why are you saying s plus 1 is 2s?
Yeah.
Are they like terms?
No.
Oh,
No.
No.
If this was an s right here, then yes.
It'd be 8s times.
Yeah, 8s plus 8.
Okay, so you guys are already getting going. You guys are doing distributive property, right? So what's 8 times s?
8s.
8 times 1?
8.
I know it's getting low on here. I can't zoom in any further. I'm sorry. But how do I get s by itself?
Divide by 8.
Subtract 8.
Okay, remember, there's a super special rule that if you don't follow, it's not going to work.
subtract.
You have to get the stuff around it gone before you can deal with what's directly happening to it. If you don't understand what I mean by that is, what is directly happening to my s? It's being multiplied by 8 because they're snuggled up next to each other, right?
So subtract 8 and then
Yes, we have to get rid of this first. And so we'd subtract 8, subtract 8.
It's 8.
So this would be 8 equals 8x.
So one.
F.
S.
So S is
Yeah, it's
So
just
divide
S.
by 8.
Divide by 8, divide by 8, s equals.
S.
One.
Or 1.
It's just
Oh, yeah.
Good job. Here's the biggest thing I need you to remember. When you cross multiply, you're taking this number times everything that this is, right? Just like I said, you take 4 times all of this, right? What's 4 times 4? 16. What's 8 times s and 8 times 1? You have to take 8 times everything that those numbers are, okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Doesn't S equal 2?
What is 8 divided by 8?
Oh, okay.
1. So if that would make sense too. Can I plug it back in to check? If I plugged a 1 in right here, whoops, I need a marker, not a highlighter. If I put a 1 right here, what's 1 plus 1?
2.
What is 2 fourths and 4 eighths? Are those the exact same fraction, just one's reduced?
Yeah.
Perfect. 1/2, 1/2.
That's smart.
That's awesome. How do you guys feel about 5.4 cross multiplication?
Awesome.
Feeling okay? Okay, then go ahead and write me 5.5 slope.
I needed them.
Now remember, yesterday in my video, we stuck 5.5 and 5.4 together. Can you guys explain to me what part of it you disliked? Because I need to know if it was just because it was too easy or if it was confusing.
Everything.
It's just setting it up like forever.
Yeah, it's like
It's a long process.
It's like it.
It really isn't. All you do is count.
But like you gotta draw the
Yeah.
grid and then you gotta draw the numbers. It's just
But you guys, did you have a problem where it said to draw the graphs and then find the slope, or did they say find the slope?
But to find the slope.
On your guys, are you talking about your homework last night? Your homework last night, right here, I believe. Oh no, this is 5.6. 5.5. This was your homework, right? You didn't have to draw any graphs. They're right there. You just had to find the slope. So you guys must not have understood how to find slope.
That you just broke them up.
Let's talk about it. This book is super nice because they already give you 2 points. Agreed?
Yes.
All you have to do is go to your most bottom point. This is my most bottom point. Agreed? How many do I have to go up to get to the same level as this point?
4.
1, 2, 3, 4. That means my rise is 4. How many do I have to go over to get to my next point? That means my run is 1. My slope is 4/1.
Oh, no.
Slope is incredibly easy.
That's
How about this one? How do I get from my most bottom point to my next point? Up 1, 2,
Or
3. Over how many?
2.
2. That's my slope.
I'm just gonna say it's the opposite of the whatever that's called
No, it's not.
right now.
Okay, well, it's not that. That's not how you find slope. You do not say it's opposite of that point. Okay? Because was it the opposite of this point? Oh, yeah, because we're starting at the origin. But will we always start at the origin?
No.
No, so let's try this one. How do I get from my most bottom point to my next point? Up 1, over 1, 2, 3. Your slope is
1/3.
1/3. Okay? So, I'm going to ask you one more time. How do we feel about slope?
Nice.
good.
It's really easy. It really, really is easy, especially when they give you the graph. So, I don't need you guys to write this down. But what I do want you to write down is this. I want you to write down slope equals rise over run. Rise means up or down. Agreed?
Yes.
Run means left or right. So I was a little taken back just now when you guys told me that slope was that yesterday's video was really confusing. So do you guys see? All you do is go from one point to the next point. Now, here's where it kind of bothers me about this book giving you your dots already. Do you notice that the dot they give you on this one is from here to here? But is that the next dot in the crosshairs from my most bottom point? Like, what I mean by that is if I'm at my most bottom point and I'm following the crosshairs on this line, is the next dot that hits the crosshairs way over here? Or is it literally right here?
Right there.
Do you see that? Are there dots between the crosshairs that they didn't give you? Now, that's not a problem. Let me tell you why. If I was, somebody who's very observant and I see, oh, the next dot's right here, my slope is up 1 over 1, 1 over 1. Slope is 1 over 1, easy. But let's say I'm somebody who's not totally observant and I'm just going to count from here up to here, right? No problem, let's do it. How many do I go up to get to this level? 1, 2, 3, 4. So the rise is 4. What's the run? 4? Here's my problem. 4 over 4 can be reduced to what? 1 over 1? Isn't my slope up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1?
That's easier for me to like see through.
So you
Would you rather reduce or would you rather do the crosshairs? That's totally fine.
Because I can just
so you
kind
would
of.
still get calculated if you divide it.
Yes, as long as you reduce though. Some kids will say 4 over 4 is the slope. They're not wrong. 4 over 4 is the slope, but more correctly, it's actually, what is 4 divided by 4? 1, and what's 1 as a fraction? Yeah. So either way is okay. It's just if you don't see that there are dots in between, you do need to reduce at the end. Okay? Okay, let's try number 16. Right away, I see that there is a dot in between. But that's okay. Let's just go find the slope by the 2 given points. How do I get from my lowest point to my top point? Up how many? Oops, 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 4. Over how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, you gave me the 6 as the rise, and that would be incorrect. But you gave it to me for the rise. You're wrong. Hey, what do we know about 4, 6? Can that be reduced? Divide each by these by 2. What do I get? Now, guys, look. If I went from my most lowest point and I went up 2 over 3, up 2 over 3, does it land on the line? Yeah. So if you gave me the slope was 4, 6, I have a really hard time marking you as wrong because you're not wrong. The slope is 4, 6. But more accurately, what is the actual slope? 2/3. Now, is the slope 2/3 from this point to this point? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yep. Yes.
Do you always have to simplify the fraction numbers?
Yes, I would like you to because that's the more accurate way, and I'd rather you guys do it now as 7th graders. That way when you get to my mom, she's not like, you don't simplify? You guys have already been trained, okay? I like how Jaylee's taking note of that, and she's saying always simplify slope.
We sound like you say we're trained, we sound like a bunch of dogs.
I will get you so trained so well. All right, once again, just by looking at this, do you see that there are points in the crosshairs that they didn't give us? For example, I see there's one right here. I see one right here. But if you don't see that, can you still just find me the slope between the 2 points they did give us?
Yeah.
Sure. How do I get from the most bottom point to my top point? I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, Gavin. Now the rise is 6. Gavin, what's the run? 3. What do you guys know about 6/3?
Reduce.
Yeah, what is 6 divided by 3? That's 2, right? But now, here's my question. What's 2 as a fraction? Slope is always a fraction. Okay? Even if it's a whole number, it's got to be over a 1. Okay? Grace.
So you know how you said we couldn't turn our. Wait, never mind. I figured it out.
I am surprised that for the examples they gave us, they only gave us positive slopes. Did your homework only give you positive slopes as well? Let me check. Yep, they did. You know how I know that they're all positive? All the lines are going that direction. They're all going up, right? A negative slope, you guys, would look like this. Let me put in a picture, a blink. Yeah, so here's what a negative slope would look like. If I had my coordinate grid, the negative slope would be a line that goes downwards. So that's surprising that they only gave you guys positive slopes this time around. That's a great question. I'll look through it and see, but if they do, I'll give you a heads up. But it looks like everything has been positive this whole chapter. They probably want to wait till you guys are in 8th grade to tell you about negative slopes.
That's kind of sad.
You guys can definitely handle it now, so I think that is kind of sad. All right, like I said, chapter 5.6, we skipped. Boop, boop. So now I'm looking at your chapter test. This is on page 208. This isn't your actual test, but this is very, very similar. 1 through 2 says to find the unit rate. How do I solve unit rates? You divide straight down, right? So this would be 84 miles per 12 days. 84 divided by 12? 7?
Sure.
7 miles per 1 day. Unit rates. You just divide the two numbers, okay? Look at this one. This one has those fractions that we were talking about, right? So we'd first to turn them into improper, then I could divide them. But when I divide fractions, I have to do the skip, flip, multiply, multiplicative inverse. Then I'd have to divide that to find my number. Do you guys feel comfortable with that one, or do you want to do that one together?
I don't feel good.
It's just a process, right? Not a hard one, it's just a long one. Number 3 and 4. Tell whether the ratios form a proportion. What's Mrs. Ringler's favorite way to tell if things are proportions? Cross multiply. That's all you have to do for 4 and 5, or 3 and 4. And then 5 and 6 says, does y and x form a proportional relationship?
Yeah.
You just have to go through and divide them all, right? 5 is yes, 6 is no. So I'm looking at 5. I can tell 10 divided by 2 is 5. 20 divided by 4 is 5. 30 divided by 6 is 5. And 40 divided by 8 is 5. Those are all, proportional. About this. 3 divided by 1 is 3. 7 divided by 3 is not 3. Alright guys, so I'm going to go and finish up this video real fast. What I need you guys to do is rewatch this video, take good notes, and practice, okay?